Good morning, everybody. Good morning. A little bit behind this morning, but I'm here. I'm not that far behind. It's a little bit chilly out too. So this morning, we're going to talk about starting points. I thought it was a good idea since it's Monday, and for a lot of people, they consider Monday their starting point. So we're going to talk about starting points, and I'm going to have a couple sips of coffee because I haven't had it yet. And so starting points, we don't really consider. I think most of us would go, oh, where's your starting point? My starting point was, whatever your birthday is, right? So what is that true? Is that your real starting point? Is that where everything that your life is about today really got going? Perhaps that's exactly where your life got started, was on your birthday, and everything that has happened since then is all dependent on how you came into the world. Or maybe as you grew and became more consciously aware, you came to new starting points. Maybe you came to a new point, around age 10, 12 years old, when things started to happen around, developmental changes, and you started to view the world in a different way, and realization of the beliefs that you had as a small child are no more. Maybe your actual starting point happened in your teen years, when you were in your rebellion and you were discovering yourself, and you just wanted to be you and felt very self-centered in that. Maybe your starting point happened later in time, as you moved into your 20s and you went out and you started to venture out into life without the safety net of parent, family, guardian around you. Those are all starting points. They are all starting points. We have multiple starting points. And a realization that I want you to have, hopefully in the next few minutes of this conscious coffee, is that we have multiple starting points. We really do consistently reorchestrate our lives, reawaken to different aspects of self. We are always in transformation. We are always in this new state of being, not the same person that we were yesterday, a week ago, a year ago, 5 years ago. So truly, our new starting point is right now in this moment. But the thing with this moment's starting point is our choice. What is the choice that we're making in this moment to have a fresh start, fresh eyes out into the world, and fresh eyes into ourselves? So as we look at that kind of stuff, how are you different? How do you want to be different? Realize that the you of yesterday was yesterday. And this morning, as you're waking up, you can be whoever you want. Whoever you want. You do not have to be the same you that you were yesterday or a week ago. It is the only thing that will keep you in that alignment to the you of yesterday, last week, last year, is looking at the things that tell you that you're the same, that tell you that, well, this is the way it has always been. So if you're constantly going, oh, there's my proof. See, there's my proof. My proof is right here. This happened, so this means that this is the way I feel about it. This means that this is, this is the result that I'm going to get from this. This right here shows me that, I have evidence about this. When we do things like that, we're basically viewing our life from the rear view mirror instead of looking forward and driving forward. Because guess what? We're all going forward. Some of us are paying attention to really moving forward and keeping our eye on the goal. and others of us are looking in the rearview mirror. If you've ever thrown a ball or done anything like that, if you've ever thrown anything, does it work very well if you throw something looking this way? Or if you throw something to somebody and you're looking behind you at the person behind you, but you're throwing the ball in front of you, where's the ball going to go? Where's this thing that you're throwing going to go if you're looking behind you? So you should be answering, FYI, the right answer here is probably not where you want it to go, okay? You're not going to hit your target, okay? You're not. It'll go forward, but it's not going to hit the target that you want it to hit because you're too busy looking this direction. In order for you to get an object that you're throwing from your hand where you're standing to the point that you're wanting it to go to, you actually need to not look at the ball, not look behind you, not look beside you, not look at your feet or the sky, but look at your goal. You have to look at your goal. So if there's another person over there and you're throwing the ball to the person, guess what? Make eye contact with that person. Look at them right here, right? And if you're looking at them and you throw the ball, guess where the ball's going to go? It's going to go to them. It will go to them. Maybe you're not going to be dead on target, but your chances of hitting your target, being within the same vicinity as the target, increase tremendously if your eyes are on the target. So, where's your starting point? Your starting point is always right here, in self, in this moment, right with whatever you're deciding to focus on in this moment, making those decisions for this moment. You, only you, not another soul on this planet, can decide what direction you're going to go today in this moment, matter of fact, other than you. Only you can. Where, and this is, here's your question of the day, your homework of the day, to look and see where in your life you are trying to throw that ball and hit a target while you're looking someplace else, while your focus is not on your desired destination, but it is actually on the past, somebody else's viewpoint, which would be, looking over here, over here, over here. Are you so caught up in the idea of, oh my goodness, what will my family think? What will my friends think? What will my business partners think? Where is your concern? Where is your holdback? What is causing you to not be focused on your goal? There's a practice that everybody who wants to, like, if you want to grow your bank account, if you want to grow your investments, if you want to lose weight and get fit, if you are, in the Olympics, some sort of physical sport, and you're consistently challenging yourself and you're trying to achieve something. The thing that anybody who in that situation really looks at is they look at their goal and then they back it up, their dream, right? And then they back it up into looking, actually watching the results, tracking the results. Because when we start to track things, when we start to pay attention, because you can't go out there and say, no, let's take weight, right? I want to lose 20 pounds, but I'm not going to weigh myself, and I'm never going to look at the scale again. I'm going to lose 20 pounds, but I have to lose 20 pounds. Like, my doctor told me I had to lose 20 pounds. Now, granted, I don't look at scales. I'm more of that person that's like, how do I look? How do I feel is what matters to me. But if you are there's plenty of people that are in desperate need to lose a certain amount of weight, 20 pounds, 50 pounds, 100 pounds, for their health or whatever. If you don't know your starting point, if you don't know how much you weigh right now in this moment, and you don't have some form of consistent tracking going on, then you're really never gonna achieve that desired result again, because you're not tracking it and you're probably just oblivious to what's going on. So if you want to make more money, you have to track the money. You have to go, here's where I am today. Here's my goal for 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, 6 weeks from now, 4 months from now, a year from now, blah, blah, blah. You don't get caught in the obsessiveness of the moment to just go back and view it over and over and over again. So in other words, if you're trying to lose weight, you don't go and stand on the scale 3 times a day and go, oh, man, now I went up 2 pounds. And the next morning, like, all right, now I'm down 6 pounds. And then, a couple hours later, oh, no, you don't weigh yourself every single day. You don't look at, well, I've only made this much money today, and my goal in the next 2 weeks is to make $1,000, or like an extra $1,000 on top of stuff. Then you keep your eye on the goal. But here's the thing: a couple days before your goal, or whatever that timeline is that you've given yourself, you should actually start paying attention. Every few days you should have that system of going, where am I at? Where am I at? Where am I at? The importance of knowing where you're at in any given moment is because if you don't know where you're at, how are you ever going to know where you're going? You have to know where you're at to know where you're going. Are you still in alignment to that? How do you feel about it right now? What is coming through you right now? Do you still want that desired result? Whatever that might be. No, I'm using weight and money and, throwing a ball right now. You can apply this to any aspect of your life. If you don't have the goal of getting someplace, if you don't have that desire to have that dream appear, and you can't actually see it, and then come back to, here's where I'm at, and I'm moving forward. We're moving forward, okay? That's what you want to do. Just baby steps forward. That's it. If you don't know where you're at consistently, you're going to lose. You will lose the path to where you're trying to get to go. And then you will grow weary, and you will grow tired and frustrated and overwhelmed and lost and scared, and it'll just be, and then guess what? You only do that for so long, and then all of a sudden you'll give up, and poof, there went your dream. There went the dream. There went the desired result, your desired life. And you're going to find yourself with what? One more thing, proving yet again why you can't have that. And what that does is it sets in stone a belief, because beliefs are nothing more than thoughts well practiced. And if we keep practicing the same thoughts, which means that we keep looking for the evidence of those thoughts, because it is an active game of looking for the evidence to support our belief, to support this core thing inside of us, which is nothing more than a thought that we've created or that we have bought into that's not even ours. The majority of beliefs are not even ours, things that we have just willingly taken on that belongs to somebody else. When we're looking for evidence to support it, we are re-establishing a connection to this belief that may not be serving us very well and keeping ourselves from the forward moving action of where our dream is. As we move forward, we're going to fail. We're going to fail. And here's the thing. And see, the Addison's on. So here comes the story I told you last night, Addison. Yesterday I went to church. I go to church a couple times a month. And the message was absolutely phenomenal. I got a whole bunch of different messages from the pastor yesterday. But the one story, and I'm not going to have this very accurate, so please don't hold me to like what the dates were or anything like that. It's the story, okay? So he told a story about this woman and her son sitting on the beach, and the tide was coming in and out, and as she's walking along the beach and she sees this bottle sticking out of the sand. So she unearths it, right? She gets in there and she digs it up. And she pulls this antique gin bottle out of the sand. And she's like, well, it's a really cool bottle. It's in good shape. It's a cool bottle. So she, dusts it off, dusts the sand off. And she's like, that's very cool. I'm going to go ahead and take that home. So she gets her son. They get into the car. She hands the bottle to her son sitting in the back seat, right? And she's going to take it home because it's just a cool antique piece. She doesn't know how old it is. It's just a really cool piece to set on the shelf. So she takes the bottle, gives it to her son, and while she's driving, the boy notices that there's something inside the bottle. And so when he looks, he gets it out, and it looks like it's almost like a rolled up cigarette. Like if you were to roll your own cigarettes, if you smoked, then it looks something like that. So about that big, really, really tightly rolled. So they open it up and they look. It's got writing on it, and it has the date of. Here, don't hold me to this. It's like July 22nd, and they can't make out the year. Okay, they can't make out the year. And then on there is some different writing and some different stuff, and they don't even know what any of this says. So they send it off to, figure out, they send it off to loss of words all of a sudden to go and get it authenticated and figure out what exactly this is. So they send that out, and all these tests are done, and they looked on it and all this different stuff. It comes back a while later that this note was from like 1845 or something, and on there it was from Germany, and there was ship coordinates, where the ship was at when the bottle was dropped, and directions as to what to do should you find this bottle, and a couple other little things. So this bottle had been dropped from a ship back in 1845, and it ended up on the coast. Where was this woman at? Oh, I didn't tell you that part. She was in Australia. So this bottle went from wherever the coordinates, the latitude, longitude of the ship was back in 1845, and it got carried by the current to the ocean, through the ocean, right, off to Australia to this beach. And goodness, who knows how long it had been sitting in the sand in Australia until got unearthed and she found it. So what happened back in the mid to late 1800s was that Germany was doing a whole bunch of experiments on trying to figure out the ocean tide, the current, and what was going on with the ocean currents. So they sent out ships, and they would drop bottles like this with the latitude, longitude of where the ship was at, the date and time that they dropped it, and the directions as to if you got it, how to get in touch with them and let them know the details that they needed to know, because they were actually mapping the ocean currents this way. And then they wanted to just know, like, if a ship was right there, and if it just started to drift and let the current take them, where would it inevitably end up? The bottle would tell you. So from any point, right, that would tell you exactly where you would end up. Where was the starting point of that bottle? So the point of this tale, obviously, is the starting point of the bottle, right? The starting point of the bottle in this case was whatever the heck the latitude, longitude was out there in the ocean that I don't know, and it ended up in Australia. Could knowing the current and knowing the ocean, that the ocean's currents are the ocean's currents, if they had dropped that bottle 3 miles north of where they had dropped it, would it have ended up in Australia? Maybe it would have ended up in Africa. Maybe it would have ended up in New Zealand. Who knows? what we do know is that the currents of the ocean and the currents of life are all very similar. When we just let things go the way they're going to go, when we don't have a focus point and we don't know where that's going to take us, so we walk through our life blindly, and we're just like, what are we doing? We are that bottle. We don't know where we're going. We know where we started. Oh, for me, started August 27th, 1976. There's my start date. I'm going to just let my life carry me, and I'm just not going to even worry about anything. I'm not going to worry about anything. I'm going to just let my life carry me, and I'm just going to go, and I'm going to end up wherever I end up. And just let the life decide for me. Well, that would be me being the bottle, just letting me get carried and not paying any attention to any other start dates, not ever trying to change anything, just focusing in on letting life just completely take me. Or you can kind of figure out different points in your life where you see that you have a choice. You see that you have a choice, and you can look and you go, oh, I chose that way. I chose that way. I did this. I did that. Here's another starting point. Here's another starting point. Because we go in cycles, right? Our lives operate in cycles. A lot of people don't pay attention to those cycles. They just are the bottle that gets carried away and just drifts and lands wherever it's going to land. If you pay attention to the cycles of your life, you start to see a pattern. On the front side, there's a lot of learning, right? We're all children. We're all learning. We learn how to walk. We learn how to go to the bathroom by ourselves. We learn how to feed ourselves. We learn how to take showers by ourselves. We learn all this sort of stuff. We go, we experience, we play, we enjoy. That's one cycle of life. We move into our teen years and we start to experience this thing of sexuality and discovering ourselves and also insecurities and figuring out that, hey, maybe we care about what other people think a little bit more than what we thought when we were little kids who didn't care, right? And then you move into your 20s and now you experience freedom, hopefully. You experience a little bit more taste of making your own choices and learning from those choices, good or bad. You're learning. Then you move into your 30s and you're a little bit more into like, wow, now you're starting to really access life. You're starting to really see things. And now you're coming to this point where logical mind is working for you. Hopefully you're a little bit more tapped into who you are, what you want, what you desire. And you can start to, not that you can't do this in your 20s or your teens. You can. It's just a rare person that does. Typically, shit starts to shift in our 30s and we start to wake up and we start to pay attention and we start to see the patterns and we start to realize that it is our choice. We can see where we want to go. We can see that it is up to us to get there, and we can start to make those conscious decisions to put our focus on what we want instead of where we've been, or what so-and-so wants for us, or so-and-so wants for us, and blah, blah, blah. And we can see where we're just allowing ourselves to drift and become those drifters. And those drifters are not too happy. You just allow. I mean, there's go with the flow, and then there's go with the flow. Going with the flow positively means that you're paying attention internally and you're really tapping into, who you are and becoming that witness inside yourself and trying to be proactive instead of reactive. There you go. Go with the flow. Learn what is a big deal and what isn't a big deal. The majority of things aren't a big deal. Going with the flow and becoming a drifter, that's victimhood. That's you just laying down and letting life do what it wants with you, and life will just beat you around in its currents up against the rocks and into some scary grounds, and will just send you wherever it's going to send you. That's just being a drifter. So, back to the question of the morning. What's your starting point? What's your starting point? Where are you tossing your bottle into the ocean to check out the current today? Is it an area where you can kind of see where you want to go and you want that direction? Or is it an area that you want to venture into and you have no experience? I can tell you what, even those areas you do have experience. The you of today is not the you of yesterday. Give yourself credit. Give yourself credit. And realize that you can design who you are in this moment. You can make that choice. If you're a scared wallflower who doesn't ever want to talk to a soul and gets sweaty hands at the idea of talking to a new person and can't make eye contact and turns their toes inward and and is just completely just shut down, don't talk to me, don't look at me, but you just have something inside of you that says, this doesn't feel good. I want to be that open person. I want to be that radiating person of light, of joy, of happiness. I want to connect. I want to enjoy. That's right. You can do it like that. And do it like that. It's a decision. It's a decision. It really, truly is. I can tell you that because what I just described to you was me. That was me. I don't have any of that anymore. I don't. Practiced what I wanted. Kept my eye on a goal. Focused in on qualities, traits, things that I wanted to experience. And yes, I allowed myself to drift in that direction. It was a conscious drift. I want to go over there. I'm going to keep my eye over there, and now I'm going to go with the flow all the way over there. I'm throwing my bottle the direction that I want to go. The path is not straight. There's going to be lots of different things that are going to come in. Some are going to feel good. Some are going to feel bad. But I'm going over there. I know where I want to be. I know who I want to be. I know the life that I want to live. I can't direct every single moment, but I can direct the direction that I'm going. I can make that choice. But it all depends on my starting point. One last point before I let you go, because this is actually the real point. So anybody who dropped off, tough luck for them. True starting point here is, my dogs are snoring. They're really snoring loud and making weird sounds over there. Anyway, sounded like some creepy thing coming from the other room. It's like there's a zombie coming down the hallway or something. Off point, sorry. Where's your starting point? Where's your starting point? It's a beautiful thing about conscious coffee, right? I'm like very raw and in the moment, like, whoa, what's going down my hallway? Yeah, they're snoring. They're snoring big time. It sounds scary. Your starting point is really focused in on what your belief of the moment is. And that's why I'm, it's like, this is your starting point. Where are you today? What is your belief today about you right now? Much like I was talking about having clammy hands, my feet turned inward, completely shut down, a horrible posture, looking at the ground, no good eye contact, just a shaking of my internal being. If I had to do something like this, or if I had to talk to a new person, say hi, oh my God, everything like that. But guess what? That was what caused all that stuff to happen for me in those moments, was that I was focused in on the program of what I had always allowed to happen as to what I thought, or who I thought I was instead of who I could really be. So somewhere along the line, I made this conscious decision to just shift, to just make this happen. Now, granted, I did not, my hands didn't stop sweating, my feet didn't. I had to practice turning my feet outward, not standing in this way. I had to practice lifting my shoulders up and making eye contact. I had to practice these things that I knew were going to align me to. I'm getting positive text messages right now. It's coming in on my phone. To where I wanted to be and everything. Those were all actions I had to take to break the habit of the program. it takes time to break those programs down. And you make the decision like this, you shift the energy like this, all of a sudden the universe goes to work for you, and it's going to have that ripple out effect, and it's going to start to change things for you. It still takes time for the pattern to get broken. Every single time you look back for the evidence, you re-support the pattern. So stop looking for the evidence, because that throws you back into an old starting point. It doesn't throw you into, it doesn't keep you in the starting point that you want to be in. You have to pay attention to this starting point right here. I'm making a decision right now to, boom. That person who has that life that you're claiming you want, that you of the future, in 5 years from now, 3 years from now, 6 months from now, whatever it is, that you, what are they doing? How are they acting? How are they living? What are the thoughts they are thinking? What are the things that they are feeling? What is their life like? What does that feel like? At least capture just a taste of it. Just a taste of it. Drink it up just a little bit. Now act from this starting point to get there. What are those thoughts? Are they looking back and going, oh, well, if Bobby had told me this and I had paid attention to that, then I wouldn't be. No, that person of your future, if it is the future that you want, made certain choices. You've got to start making those choices right now, so that this starting point is the starting point that will send you in the direction of the you want to be. Really, truly. Okay, so I hope that was helpful, even with my dog snoring in the background. They're still they're like barking in their sleep and stuff. You hear they're just, and growling. That was what was going on. I'm like, what the heck, and making weird noises. But I hope that this was helpful. I hope that it got you to think about starting points. I'm actually going to take that story that the bastard provided yesterday and put it into a couple different contexts, because there's a whole bunch of different things that I definitely am going to be doing with it. So look for lots of starting point stuff to come out. The beauty of it is that I am at a cycle ending and a cycle beginning, and that's why it touched me so much, is that I feel like my life has just kind of swirled around, and I just completed a 7-year cycle in so many ways. It is amazing. I always say, oh, I'm on a 7-year cycle. I'm really on a 7-year cycle. Like, my life just goes boom, boom, like this every 7 years. And that's a pattern that I have noticed looking back over the course of time, that there is significant change for me every 7 years. It's part of becoming aware as to who you are. What is your cycle? You know, what is that? You know, are you on a 2-year cycle, a 3-year cycle, a 20-year cycle? Do you not know your cycle? Get familiar with your cycle. It doesn't mean that everything's going to be stuck in stone on that. It just means that you're aware of your natural currents inside yourself as to where, you know, how you grow, how you develop, and how you move forward in your life. Becoming more aware of your internal world and seeing these things is what gets you to the next level of where you want to be. Okay, so pay attention to your starting point, figure it out, really, really look at it, and I will catch you guys tomorrow for 6 a.m. ish coffee with a new topic on something that I don't know what. So I love you guys, and as always, if you found this message helpful at all, push the little share button for me, you know, tag a friend, like it, pop some messages on here, go back and listen through, make some notes for sure, but to help me, if you want to help me, if you find called to, push the share button and make a little notation on there. It really helps if you actually, like, people love reading what their friends have to say about something that they're sharing instead of just hitting share, because I know I do get a lot of people that just hit share and everything, and the views on those particular shares are far less than the views on the ones that somebody takes time of, like, wow, great morning message or something like that. So that doesn't have to be anything big or vulnerable or big shares, but just something like that really, really would be helpful, really, really would make me excited. And there goes my calendar telling me I need to go exercise. Okay, so I love you guys, and I will catch you tomorrow around 6 a.m. ish.